Good evening. Welcome to this candidate forum for the Greenburgh Town Supervisor Democratic Primary. My name is Susan Maggiato, and I'm the president of the League of Women Voters of the Rivertowns. Our moderator tonight is Doug French, and in keeping with League policy, he is not a voter in the district. He is a resident of Rye and a member of the Rye-Rybrook-Portchester League. Mr. French is a former mayor of the city of Rye and sits on the Westchester County Board of Ethics. Our timekeeper is Charlie Taney, a Sleepy Hollow resident and a member of the Rivertowns League. For those who may not be familiar with the League, just a word about it. The League was established over 100 years ago in 1920 after women got the right to vote. We are a nonpartisan grassroots organization working to protect and expand voting rights to make sure that everyone is represented in our democracy. We do that by advocating, educating, and litigating at the local, county, state, and national levels. We do take positions on public policy issues, so in that sense, we are political, but we are staunchly nonpartisan. That means that we never support or oppose candidates or political parties. The League is fully committed to ensure compliance in principle and in practice with our National League's diversity, equity, and inclusion policy. And membership in the League is open to everyone 16 years of age or older. You do not have to be a woman to join the League of Women Voters, obviously. We have 2 male participants tonight. A word about our recording policy that all the candidates have agreed to. Only the entities authorized by the League may record or live stream this forum, and only licensed media, which includes TV, radio, and newspapers, are entitled by FCC regulations to air portions. Anyone else who broadcasts or streams must do so in its entirety. This is to ensure that the content of the forum will not be manipulated in any way to create false or misleading impressions of any candidate. The forum will be recorded and available for later viewing on the Rivertown League's YouTube channel, LWV Rivertowns, and the link will also be on our website. There's no audience participation tonight. The questions the candidates will be answering were submitted by members of the Greenburgh community. A committee of League members reviewed the questions. Our role was to organize them and combine questions on a similar subject to include as many as possible. With that, I will turn the meeting over to our moderator, Mr. French.
Thank you, Susan, and welcome, Charlie, candidates. For those of you watching, either tonight or on replay. And tonight really is about educating you, the voters. And so this will be a forum and a conversation with the candidates for the Democratic primary for this role of supervisor for the town of Greenburgh. I will read the format the candidates were given this. By lot, we have chosen the order. It will start with opening statements, and we have agreed on first names for tonight. We'll start with Paul on opening statements, and Barry will go second for the opening statement. And then reverse order for closing statements, where Barry will go first, followed by Paul. The closing and opening statements are 90 seconds each, a minute and a half. Our timekeeper, Charlie, will alert the candidates by screen when 30 seconds are left, and then a stop sign when they need to end their answer. But again, this is about educating the voters, so if you want to finish your sentence, by all means, do so. If you run long, I will let you know. Each answer will also be 90 seconds. So each candidate will get the same question, and we'll go in reverse order again, rotating order, and they'll have 90 seconds with a 30-second warning and then a stop sign. Each candidate gets 2 rebuttals, so it's kind of like the NFL or the challenge flag, right? After both candidates have answered the question, just simply raise your hand and just say you want to rebut. I will acknowledge you. You have 30 seconds to offer rebuttal. The rebuttal needs to be on that topic of that question. No comments of a personal nature, but you can expand on your own answer, or you can rebut a statement that has been made on that topic by the other candidate. You'll have 30 seconds, 2 rebuttals. I'll keep tabs as far as the rebuttals. And of course, the moderator has full authority on the ground rules, but this is a conversation, so that shouldn't be a problem. Any I think we're good to go with that. Charlie, you ready? I think that is a yes. All right, so we will start with opening statements. And again, by order of lot, Paul, you go first. You have 90 seconds.
Thank you to the League of Women Voters for providing a forum where Greenberg voters can identify issues and gain a better understanding of the candidates and their fitness to serve and represent the town. I have for decades represented the residents and business operators of Greenberg. My cell phone number is available, never changed, 914-478-1219. I personally respond to every call, text, and email. I take this job very seriously because I believe that everyone has the right to live their best life, and government should exist to satisfy that goal and not to meet their own political and personal needs. My record speaks for itself, as does the success garnered under my watch. Large runs of newly installed sidewalks, street safety improvements, government grants, increased park acreage, and newly developed park facilities, the best municipal services anywhere, and years of AAA bond ratings are the result of tireless work and, most of all, unwavering commitment. Tonight, I ask each of you watching this forum to focus on three things. One, personal commitment. Two, the ability to act independent of the other town board members, labor unions, Edgemont incorporators, and the Democratic machine in Yonkers and Westchester. Three, experience necessary to preside over a town with a more than 100 million annual operating budget and more than 700 employees. Thank you very much.
All right, Paul, thank you. Barry, you have 90 seconds for your opening statement.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to participate in this evening's forum. Thank you to the League. My name is Barry McGoey. I'm a resident of the village of Ardsley, where I live with my family. I'm very proud of my wife, Erin, and my three teenage children, Madeline, John, and Matthew. I'm a trustee on the board of the village board in the village of Ardsley. I've had a long career in public service. I'm not a career politician, but I'm a career public servant. I actually was early in my career after college, I was an internal auditor at a bank. Then I went to work for New York State for over 8 years. I became a Yonkers firefighter, performed that job for 22 years. While I was a firefighter, I went to law school at night. I've been a practicing attorney for over 20 years, and I was also the president of a union for 12 years. I have extensive experience in municipal operations. I have a background in accounting and the law. And probably most importantly, I have the ability to work with people to solve problems that evolve. You'll find me to be very professional, very thoughtful in everything I do. I don't make decisions without careful consideration. The town of Greenberg is in a dire strait right now, and we'll talk about some of those issues tonight. But I think my background, experience, and skill set make me uniquely qualified to serve as the town supervisor and to carry this town, this great town, forward. And I look forward to answering your questions tonight.
Great. Thank you, Barry. We'll now start with the Q&A portion of the forum. And Paul, you'll get the first question, and then Barry will go to you. First question. What are the three things that you've accomplished during your past 3 years of public service of which you are proudest? You have 90 seconds.
Well, I'm very, very proud of the sidewalks that the town has built. We built about 12 miles of new sidewalks around the town. I'm also very, very proud that Money Magazine and Fortune named Greenberg one of the best communities in the whole United States. I'm proud that Regeneron has chosen to expand in Greenberg. That's over 1,500 new jobs. I'm also proud of the new supermarkets that are coming to the town. One on East Hartsdale Avenue, another on Central Avenue, the new restaurants. Our economy is doing really great. I'm also proud that we started a Chamber of Commerce that's helping local businesses, and that we're addressing drainage issues throughout the town, improving people's quality of life. Of course, I'm proud of some of the cultural initiatives like the new museum, the Odell House, the Black History Museum, the Repair Cafe. We got a new elevator at Hartsdale train station, which will enable the disabled to have better access to the train station. We've done so many fantastic things. The new farmers market on East Hartsdale Avenue is very, very successful. And we've had the snow angels, the COVID angels, the tech angels that help students are helping people. We have a fantastic internship program. We're increasing parkland to 614 acres from
And on that,
200 acres.
Paul, and that
Okay,
we'll have to end it. Appreciate it. Thank you.
thank
Uh,
you.
Barry, same question. I can read it if you like. What are the 3 things that you have accomplished during your past 3 years of public service of which you are proudest? 90 seconds.
I'm, I'm very proud to be a member of the Ardsley Village Board. We have such a well-run, well-managed municipality. And it's a team effort, it's a collaboration, and I'm most proudest of my contributions to the running of the village of Ardsley. Um, I think most people would tell you that I'm very collaborative, I'm thoughtful, and I just assist in the operations of the town, not to try to showboat, but just to assist town operations. And under our great leadership in the village of Ardsley, our former mayor and our current mayor, we have a multicultural diversity and inclusion committee, which is very welcoming to all communities, all faiths, all races, all religions and backgrounds. I'm very supportive of all the initiatives that committee puts forward. And, one of the things that our former mayor, Nancy Kabulian, did during the pandemic, or shortly after the pandemic, we had migrants that were shipped up to Ardsley bused up to Ardsley from New York City. And the way that they were treated and included and protected while they stayed in the village of Ardsley. I'm very proud of that. That just shows what kind of people that we are in the town of Greenburgh.
All right, Barry, thank you. And Barry, we'll come right back to you with the next question. Greenburgh has 700 plus employees and a budget of over $120 million. What are the challenges of managing such a large budget and staff? 90 seconds.
Well, the biggest challenge is there has to be somebody at the helm who's going to be responsible and take accountability. We have several large departments, and each of those departments, and some smaller ones, but the major departments, they all have commissioners or department heads, but there needs to be somebody who's overseeing all of the operations, who's coordinating the efforts, overseeing the budget, making sure that we have the appropriate number of staff and the appropriate number of dollars to perform the functions. So I think that's what I will bring to the table. My ability to work with people, to supervise and manage people, and to bring people together. Because at the end of the day, the town of Greenburgh has to provide services to the residents of the town. Those services are provided through employees. And that's where the vast majority of our budget is. We need somebody who has labor relations experience, who has contract experience, and somebody who can really move the town forward to become a much more leaner, more efficient operation. Because as I go around the town, one of the major themes is the taxes are too high. We have to start looking about shared services, potentially shared assets. And before we can actually enter into agreements, we have to establish and strengthen the relationships within our town, within the various communities, including the villages. We should be working together to try to save money and make this town more affordable.
Right, thank you. Paul, I can read the question
Well,
again.
yeah, first of all, I'm very proud of the town. We have a AAA bond rating. Our financial health is excellent. Practically everybody I speak to says the services are fabulous. We have outstanding and very dedicated employees. But I do think that the town has to always look for ways to save taxpayer dollars. I formed a procurement committee, citizens budget committee that's looking for ways to save taxpayer dollars. And I also feel that the town supervisor should insist on making sure that we're not ripping off the taxpayers. For example, recently the town board hired one person for two jobs, a building inspector and commissioner of public works. I don't think that's manageable, and I think that we should have a full-time commissioner of public works and a full-time building inspector. I feel that the town is wasting money on the healthcare, buyouts. It's very expensive, and we're paying twice as much as other communities. I don't think elected officials should be getting the healthcare, buyouts. So I feel that we have to look at all the contracts, the consultants. We have outside legal fees. Town board, to my dismay, spent over $120,000 hiring an outside law firm that actually represented them before the ethics board, and the ethics board has no power to take any action. So we threw out over $120,000, on that. So if you start adding up all these misuses of taxpayer dollars, we could actually run a leaner and more efficient government without
It's time.
having more increasing taxes.
Okay, it's time. We're going to come right back to you, Paul, with the next question. Recently, there has been concern about the number of positions that can be held by a single town employee. What is your position regarding this controversy?
Well, as I said before, I'm totally, against having one person have, two jobs. Actually, both the building inspector and the deputy building inspector have been given two jobs. The success of the town has been the delivery of services. People used to call me, and if there was a pothole, it would be fixed immediately. If there was a water main break, we responded very, very quickly. I'm worried that if one person has two jobs, they're going to be distracted. The current Commissioner of Public Works is hardworking, it's very creative, but I looked at the most recent report, and I think 40% of all the building inspections were done by him at the same time he's Commissioner of Public Works. So you can't have both jobs. If somebody's getting paid $263,000 a year, they shouldn't be spending their time doing inspections, which may cost normally would cost the town taxpayers maybe $70,000 or $80,000 a year. So we're overpaying him for work that he's doing as a building inspector, and I want him to be spending full time as a commissioner of public works. I've recommended that the deputy building inspector be appointed full-time building inspector. She would be the first woman building inspector. I think she would be fabulous in that job, and I think that the commission.
That's it. Thank you for your answer. Barry, I can read the question again.
No, I got the question.
Okay, got it.
And I just, must say, ordinarily, I don't approve of somebody having two jobs at one employer. Ordinarily, if somebody's going to moonlight, that should be with a second employer. That's generally how it's done. However, there is an underlying issue in our town where there are a tremendous amount of vacancies. People do not stay in positions that ordinarily in other municipalities, once they obtain a position, they generally stay there for quite a period of time. And we have to look at some of the underlying reasons of why we have high turnover. I don't know the particulars that were discussed in executive session amongst the board, but the one thing it surely does indicate is that Paul does not have leadership skills in order to bring about a consensus amongst the board that he's in agreement with. There's a reason. What's the underlying reason? I would ask anybody that's watching this Zoom tonight to look at any of the work sessions or town board meetings. They're on greenburgnewyork.gov. It's disgraceful. And just this week, on Tuesday evening, Mr. Feiner disrespected, talked down to, and demeaned the deputy county attorney. I found it to be disgraceful. Other members of the town council asked Mr. Feiner to apologize, and he said, apologize for what? I think people should look at that meeting and see how he treated the staff. And then we'll answer the question is why people do not want to work for the town of Greenburgh.
Right. Thank you. We will come back to you with the next question. Question number 4. In January 2026, the town board released a report identifying more than $29 million in unpaid property taxes. What solutions do you have to collect these taxes, and what can be done to prevent this happening in the future? 90 seconds.
There was many findings in that report, and hopefully we get to some of them. It's very unfortunate. One of the main functions of the town government, especially as it relates to other governments, is to collect taxes. People have an obligation. Unfortunately, that's how we fund government. We have to pay taxes. The town has an obligation to collect those taxes and to make it fair. Unfortunately, this audit uncovered that there's over $30 million of uncollected taxes. Many properties, a proper lien was never even filed against the property owner. It's truly unfortunate. But what really makes it unfortunate is this is not the first time this has occurred. Back in 2013, a similar situation occurred, and in an article in April 13th of 2016, I'm sorry, that's when it was in 2016. This is Mr. Finer's quote: "We won't wait 18 years again. From now on, we'll do this every year so that debt doesn't pile up as much." It happened again. It's not even 18 years, and it's happened again. We need to institute systems and processes to prevent this from occurring. Someone needs to be monitoring the tax collections and ensuring that everyone is paying their fair share. It's not fair to the taxpaying residents that up to $30 million can go uncollected from delinquent taxpayers. When I'm town supervisor, I'm going to ensure that we have the systems and processes in place to make sure we collect the taxes that are due.
Okay. Paul, I can read the question, or
Okay, basically, there's no missing money, no stolen money, no funds lost, no malfeasance. All financial activities in the town have been correctable and are corrected. We have a correction action plan, but I'm surprised that Mr. McGooey is so disingenuous as to cast aspersions on my fitness as an administrator. He himself had been admonished by the Yonkers Inspector General in 2013 and by the State Controller in 2018. I have right over here the report from the Yonkers Inspector General. This is how he, as union leader, spent money that the taxpayers are responsible, wanted for themselves. Spouse health club memberships, pool club summer family memberships at a country club or municipal pool, rock climbing and golf passes for members and spouses. The Yonkers Inspector General found that there was a problem, and in 2018, the New York State Controller's Office came out with a report and found that $1.4 million was misappropriated while Mr. McGooey was in charge of the Yonkers Union benefits. Happened. So the state controller issued a report saying the Yonkers firefighters wasted an estimated 1.4 million state taxpayer monies from 2014 and 2016 while Barry McGooey was president. I have copies of the reports which I could send anybody, and I really believe that if you're gonna, I don't want to see
all right, well,
Yonkers
you're out of time.
running the
Paul,
town.
Paul, you're out of time. All right. We can jump to the next question. All right, question number 6. No, I'm sorry, question number 5. This goes to you, Paul. How should the town of Greenburgh improve fiscal oversight and transparency? 90 seconds.
Well, we have a procurement committee. We have over 10 citizens, all with procurement backgrounds, who are part of this committee. One had served in the cabinet under Mayor Koch and another former mayor of New York City. We're going to be scrutinizing every single dollar that is spent, in the town. We have the best citizens group that we've had because everybody who's involved has experience dealing with budgets and procurements. So I'm really looking forward to that. We also are going to be looking at other ways of tightening up, spending. I think, for example, that we should explore the possibility of sharing services offered by both the Fairview, Greenville, and and Hartsdale fire departments. Some of the volunteer fire departments cost them like cost the taxpayers say 59 cents in their tax rates compared to $5 for a paid fire district. So I think there's a lot of room to save taxpayer dollars if the community basically wants to. There's other shared service opportunities. For example, we could be working with the villages and having more shared services in terms of when we
No, we're
buy
out of time, Paul.
asphalts. Okay, sorry. When we
We're
buy,
out of time.
sorry. Okay.
All right. Barry, same question. You want me to read it again?
Yes, please.
Okay. How should the town of Greenberg improve fiscal oversight and transparency?
We should probably start by replacing Mr. Finer with myself. I just want to go back to something outright lies and falsehoods that he had stated earlier. The Inspector General's report was a political hit job in the city of Yonkers. It's a politically appointed position. The fact of the matter is, the New York State Controller did identify some issues where there was some deficiencies. You know what I did? The difference between Mr. Finer and myself is I fixed those problems. I fixed those issues. We actually had state legislation. I spearheaded it through the state legislature and had it signed by the governor to correct an antiquated law from 1914 that was no longer applicable or could be complied with. And as far as Mr. Finer does bring up some good things. I think a procurement committee is good. I think a citizens budget committee is good. You know what? Why didn't he do it in the last 35 years? It's only now that he has an opponent that he's actually thinking about how can we actually safeguard the taxpayers' money? How could we become more efficient? It's too late, 35 years into it, it's too late to come up with new ideas. Mr. Finer has all these plans of what he plans to do. The fact of the matter is, what has he done? I'm someone that's going to take the seat in the town supervisor's office. I'm going to be a full-time, hands-on supervisor, utilizing my skills, my background, and my experience to actually do some of the things that Mr. Finer says he plans to do. The difference between me and him is I get things done.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, 30 seconds.
Okay. Basically, I've had budget committees in the past, and they've been successful. My father, when he was alive, came to the town hall 3, 4 times a week and looked for ways of saving money. I remember one year the town was going to spend like $300,000 on a new roof in the library, and he did some research, and we got it down for I think $30,000 or $25,000. So I've done this in the past. I've always looked for ways to save money. A number of years ago, for example, at the town pool, they were going to replace the pool because it was antiquated. It's going to cost $9 million. And we put a liner and did it for $100,000. We're going to be lining sewer pipes, and it's going to extend under some of the roads, and it's going to extend the life by 20 to 50 years. So
Okay.
we're looking for ways of saving money, and we
Okay.
always have.
All right, rebuttal. So that's one of your rebuttals. And I again, use your rebuttals in the question as it's answered. I gave a little leeway there since it was somewhat relevant to the question of oversight, but try to use your rebuttal specific after the question is asked so we stay on topic. We will move to question number 6 now, and Barry will come back to you. What is your position on whether elected officials should be eligible for municipal health insurance buyouts? And do you support capping or eliminating this practice for elected leaders in Greenberg? 90 seconds.
Well, the goal and purpose of a health insurance buyout is to save money for the employer. So I wouldn't want to exclude any classification of employee, which would actually not save the town money. The unfortunate problem here is that because Mr. Finer has been asleep at the wheel for so long, that this actually became a problem.
Let's keep it to policy.
Well, the
Not personal
policy
attack.
is, well, we're really, okay. The fact of the matter is, this all happened under his watch. And I'm sorry if it's a personal attack, but that's the reality. That this didn't happen last year or the year before that. This is something that's occurred over a decade and a half or 2 decades. And Mr. Finer was not watching the benefits of the town. Somebody has to oversee the collective bargaining agreements. Someone has to make sure that they're monitoring benefits. So I wouldn't exclude any classification of employee, whether they're an elected or an appointed position. The fact of the matter is, a health insurance buyout is designed to save money. Unfortunately, Mr. Feiner, through a loophole, doesn't even contribute himself to the cost of his own health insurance. He's one of a very few of people in the town who does not contribute. Most of our employees contribute 15% of the cost. He does not contribute.
Thank you. And I just meant the phrase that you used. That was more personal, not the position itself, but the phrase that was used. Paul, you have 30 seconds. 90 seconds. I can reread the question.
I'm fine.
Okay.
First of all, I do contribute to the healthcare costs, and I believe that the town of Greenberg should do what Deer Park did and ban all elected officials from the healthcare buyout, because currently employees could get as much as, and even the town board could get as much as over $20,000 in healthcare buyouts. You know, a lot of people are struggling. They're struggling with skyrocketing medical bills, and the buyout for elected officials, in my opinion, is an unearned windfall. Mr. McGooey's complaining that about the healthcare buyouts, but when his wife was town judge, she took the healthcare buyout, and I thought he is so upset with the concept of what the town board unanimously did years ago and having it. His wife should not have taken it. If he's elected town supervisor, he should say, "I will not take healthcare, buyouts." The costs are skyrocketing for everybody. This is definitely an unearned, money, grab. What I'd like to see is the town look at the compensation packages for all employees, and we should include healthcare costs and healthcare buyouts as part of that. And I should also mention that the town board is treating themselves differently than other part-timers, because part-timers currently are not eligible for any healthcare buyouts, but the town board made an exception for themselves, and that is disgraceful in my opinion.
All right. Charlie, how are we doing at time?
I would like to use the 30-second rebuttal.
Okay, there you go. Go
Okay,
ahead.
I find it despicable that Mr. Feiner would bring up my wife, who served our town as justice for 4 years. I don't know what goes on in your house, Mr. Feiner, but I don't dictate to my wife what she does. If I approve something, she doesn't come to me to get approval. I had no idea what the buyout was for the health insurance. She actually saved the town of money. How dare you bring my wife into this?
All right, let's move on. Charlie, is the timing working? Because it didn't see it pop up.
I'm sorry, I'm having a computer issue here,
Okay.
but hopefully I'll get it sorted out. I'm having my
Yeah,
cursor has decided not.
If you can't
One
flash the 30 seconds to go and the stop, just say it.
Okay, I
Okay.
may have to say it because I'm having trouble
Yeah,
with my
that's
video.
fine. Just say 30
Okay.
seconds and then stop.
Good, we'll do that. Thank you.
All right. Next question, Paul, is back to you. What is your position on Edgemont becoming an unincorporated village and why? 90 seconds.
Well, I believe that if Edgemont breaks away from the town, it's going to be devastating to the town. It's going to result in loss of jobs. It's going to result in tax increases. It's going to hurt the villages because it will impact mutual aid, issues. I believe that everybody in the town, not in unincorporated Greenberg, should have the ability to vote. And I'm calling on Mr. McGooey to support proposed legislation that I've supported when especially Tom Abenante introduced it. 85% of people impacted by Edgemont Incorporation cannot vote. The town will lose up to 25% of our property taxes. And I think it's disgraceful that people who are going to be impacted will lose services, see tax increases, can't even vote on this. My opponent has significant support from the Edgemont Incorporation leaders. He has bragged that he's going to get money from Edgemont Incorporation, supporters. And if I am reelected, I want to make sure that if they file other petitions, that the petitions will be carefully scrutinized. I do want to mention that we have good relations with the Edgemont Community, Council. We've built new sidewalks in Edgemont, going to be building more. We've appointed somebody from Edgemont as chair of the planning board. We've addressed curbing issues. A new town judge is from, Edgemont. Again, I'm very, very concerned because nothing that we do is going to be more devastating to unincorporated Greenberg than an possible Edgemont incorporation. I'm hopeful that Mr. McGooey will be very, very clear that he would carefully scrutinize the petitions, that he will, that if we have to,
Okay,
that
you
we'll
made the
hail
point. Charlie, just time check. How are we doing on time?
So can you see my stop sign?
No, we can't. We can't.
I'm sorry. I thought I can see it, but you can't. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'll just do it verbally now.
I think that was 90 seconds, Paul.
Yeah, it was 90 seconds. It was a little more than 90
Okay.
seconds. Sorry.
Barry, in fairness, we'll let you answer the question until you're completed, okay? So, again, what is your position on Edgemont becoming an incorporated village, and why?
I'm actually opposed to Edgemont's incorporation. I don't know where Mr. Finer gets his information, where the EIC committee is backing financially or otherwise my campaign. Nothing could be farther from the truth. Where are you getting this, Mr. Finer? We would love to see where this financial backing is. And I have not bragged about anything when it comes to Edgemont Incorporation. I'm firmly opposed to Edgemont's incorporation. We have New York state law, which goes back to the 1800s. And you know what? If you had a much better relationship with the state delegation, you may have been able to get the law changed prior to the most recent petition, but you didn't. We're still using the same law. As a matter of fact, Edgemont was carved out, showing such lack of your ability to sway not only your fellow town council members, but the state legislature. But I'm opposed to Edgemont's incorporation for many reasons.
30-second warning.
Excuse me?
30-second warning. Sorry.
Okay, well, Mr. French had said he was going to indulge me with extra time because Mr. Finer had extra time, but I am firmly opposed to Edgemont's incorporation. I think it would be devastating to the rest of the town, but we must follow the law. And if Edgemont does incorporate, if there is a vote, I'll do everything I can to try to make it as smooth as possible, and hopefully we don't get to that point. But Mr. Finer is the poster boy of why they want to incorporate.
Okay. All right. Well, that ends that question. So again, this is, we cannot see the screen, Charlie. You're just gonna have to speak up and say 30 seconds and stop. And
Okay, that's what I'll do. Sorry about that. That's what I'll do.
no worries. It's the old-fashioned way. That's how we used to roll here in League of Women Voters. All right. Question number 8, Barry, it's back to you. What are the opportunities for dialogue between the town board and the community during town board meetings? And is there a need for improvement? 90 seconds.
I'm sorry, that's to me, Mr. French?
Correct.
Oh, yeah, we need a total change of everything that happens in the town work sessions and the town board meetings. In most organizations, I've been on a lot of boards and participated in boards. I've chaired boards. It's the chair's responsibility and role. One of those responsibilities is to maintain order and decorum so that you have orderly process, that legislation can be discussed, the public can be heard. It's chaos and disorder at our town board meetings. We recently had a delegation of district leaders from Fairview had to come in and admonish the town council, but Mr. Finer, but all of the town council of the behavior. It's become uncivil. It's been unproductive. And I think I'm going to be able to bring in more collaboration, more trust, and to get people working together. You always can't agree on every single topic, but you don't have to be disagreeable. And I have a long history of working with other people.
30-second warning.
Trying to solve problems, trying to come to a consensus, to make compromise and move forward. But I think, the town board needs someone like me that can be able to navigate people's personalities, navigate the issues, and try to just build consensus and good governance.
Thank you. Paul, can we read the question?
That's fine. The town board and party leadership, the machine, they want complete control and dominance without accountability. They're trying to suppress input from residents with differing views. They have blocked me from attending weekly meetings they hold with department heads and are using these meetings to formulate policies which should be open to the supervisor and to the general public. This is a violation of the spirit of the open meetings law. The town website has been used by the board as a partisan weapon to post accusatory and negative content that is damaging not only to me, but also damaging to the town and property values. Every a day or so, one of the council people, he keeps posting more and more negative things about the town. And I think that's hurting our ability to, hurting our property values and making it difficult getting people to want to
30
move here.
seconds.
The draft report said that forensic report said that there was no malfeasance. One of the council people, he wanted to put the town in the worst possible light. He spoke with the auditors and he asked them to remove that sentence. I don't have plans to remain supervisor indefinitely, but I want to make sure that when I turn over the town to the town government, that we have a town board that is qualified and
Time.
committed to advancing the town's goals.
Right, thank you. Thank you, Charlie. We'll now move to the next question number 9. And Paul, we'll start with you. Please comment on the benefits of term limits that exist in many jurisdictions and why they do or do not apply in Greenberg. 90 seconds.
Well, as I've said just a few seconds ago, I don't expect to be in this job forever. I'm hoping to mentor young people because I want to have a town government that is going to be doing the right things for the community. I'm very upset with our current town board, and I believe that I have a tremendous amount more to offer. I've accomplished a lot, and there's much more, to do. And I also feel that my experience has really been very beneficial to the town. Mr. McGooey doesn't have the experience that I have. I've overseen a municipality with over 700 employees and an operating budget that exceeds $100 million. Mr. McGooey has said that he thinks the salary of the town supervisor is too high. I do not.
30 seconds.
And Mr. McGooey, I'm wondering if Mr. McGooey would commit himself to giving up all his outside employment if he is elected, and also his outside counsel experience.
Paul, the questions are from the league to the candidates. We're not asking each other questions tonight. So, I mean, you can put that on the campaign trail, but not this forum. Anything else you want to add? You got 15 seconds.
No, that's about it.
Okay. Yeah, the questions are from the league, not to each other. Barry, same question. I can reread it.
No, I think I
Okay.
understand it. I
Okay.
would just like to start off by, I will answer Mr. Finer's question. I am going to forego my law practice and of council arrangements. I'm actually going to be a full-time hands-on town supervisor, someone that's going to do the job every day at town hall. You know, recently in an newspaper article, Mr. Finer said he spends about half of the business day at his sister's house in Scarsdale answering emails. We need a town supervisor who's going to be at the town hall supervising, overseeing operations, the financial operations and the just general operations of government. As far as term limits go, you know, I found it shocking that in his last question, when he was talking about when he's going to retire, Mr. Finer said, when I turn over. That's one of the problems with not having term limits. That Mr. Finer believes it's up to him to decide who's going to be a supervisor and who it's going to be. We need to institute term limits, and I will try to work with the board to come up with a reasonable term. I think some people say 8 years, some people say 12,
30
some
seconds.
people say 16 years. I think it should be reasonable, something we agree upon. I think something like 12 years would be a sufficient period of time, because if you can't get it done in 12 years, guess what? You probably can't get it done. And if you can't get it done in 35 years, it's never happening. I should be the next town supervisor, and I'm asking for your vote.
Right. All right, thank you. We'll now go to question number 10. And Barry, we'll come back to you with this question. Given that we are in an affordability crisis, what is your plan to reduce spending and decrease taxes? 90 seconds.
Well, I think one of the things we have to do is to get a hold of some outrageous spending. One of those is this health insurance buyout. And I didn't get a chance to answer in depth before, but yes, I actually represented unions and negotiated, actually sat at negotiating tables working on issues just like this. I've never seen something as generous as the health insurance buyout in the town of Greenburgh. But I have the ability to try to work with our unions to try to reduce it because the fact, although Mr. Finer wants to blame the 4 members of the town council and the 3 elected town justices, the fact of the matter is the vast majority of the money that's spent in the health insurance buyout is through our unionized workers in the PBA and the CSEA. And that health insurance buyout has to be renegotiated with them. That's just one of the things that we have to try to do. Mr. Finer said it before. We have to look at outside counsel expenses. They are outrageous. We have to get a hold of them. We have to find out why we're spending millions of dollars in outside attorneys. But one of the things that we really have to do as
30
we move
seconds.
forward is that we have to start working together with government. We have to start finding ways where we could share services, where we can consolidate some areas, we could share assets, capital assets amongst the villages, amongst the town, and maybe even with the county. Because the taxpayers throughout this town, the one thing that they say over and over again is their taxes are too high. And I know most of the taxes go to the school system, but the town taxes are considerable, especially in unincorporated. And we have to do
Time.
everything we can to reduce taxes as much as we can, or level or reduce their rate of growth.
Okay. Paul, same question.
Great. Well, one of the biggest reasons why there's large tax hikes is because we have the fire district taxes are, so high. The town has contracts with some volunteer fire companies, and we haven't settled the contracts since 2023. I've been very upset that the Tarrytown Fire District, the Glenville District hasn't had a contract settled since 2023, still haven't settled the Irvington contract. And the importance of the volunteer fire departments is really important. I want to make sure that we're not taking steps to force these departments out of business. I'm looking at some numbers. In 2025, residents of Tarrytown paid 68 cents as part of the school tax rate. In terms of Irving, the fire districts, it was $5.05 for a paid fire
30
district,
seconds.
or $4.18. So we have to look at sharing or consolidations. There could be big savings if we would take a look at that. And that's something that I would like to do. And I'm really very upset with the town board for making it so difficult for the fire districts that have the volunteer fire districts to get the reimbursement that they deserve. And we've gotten the services. We should pay them for what they've
Time.
delivered.
Okay, thank you. We have 4 questions left, so appreciate the insightful answers. Number 11, Paul, will come back to you on this one. Both of you have stated that you are against ICE in our community. What steps would you take to ensure a safe and welcoming environment for everyone in the town of Greenburgh? 90 seconds.
Well, I've helped form Indivisible Westchester, the Central Westchester branch. I've participated in numerous rallies. I feel, strongly about that. We have a Hispanic liaison that's been working with, immigrants and, trying to help them. My office has always been open to immigrants. I've helped people over the years get visas. I've worked with Senator Schumer's office, Senator, Gillibrand's, office. And, I just want to make sure that people are treated, great. And I don't want to see the police work with ICE because I find it very, it's horrible what they're doing to fellow human beings. So I'll continue to protest. We had two rallies at Greenberg Town Hall, outside
30
Town
seconds.
Hall, and I'll continue speaking my mind. I think that the country is in danger of losing our democracy, and I'm not afraid to speak out and speak out against the horrible policies of President Trump.
All right, Paul. Barry, same question.
Well, one of the things I'd like to point out is a member of the Village Board of Ardsley. We were one of the first villages to enact a resolution calling for changes to the policies and practices of both ICE and the Border Patrol, because they have become outrageous. As far as within our town, one of the things that I think is very important, and it doesn't happen enough, is that the town supervisor has to meet on a regular basis with our police chief. It's my understanding that the police chief rarely meets in person with the supervisor. I think it's important that the supervisor meet with the police chief to make sure that the policies of our police department are consistent with the values of our community. And those are values that someone should not be afraid to call 911 because they may be arrested on an immigration status. Should not be afraid to report a fire because they have someone that may not have proper documentation in their home.
30
We
seconds.
have an obligation under the law to assist judicial warrants, and I think we have to make sure that our police department is working consistent with the values of with our community. And I think it's vital that the supervisor have an ongoing relationship and dialogue with our police department.
Could I rebut?
Sure. This is your second and last rebuttal. 30 seconds.
Okay. I'm in contact with the police chief day, night, weekends, very, very frequently. And I'm always in contact with him. I would like to mention that I'm very disappointed that the town board refused to pass an amendment to a resolution I introduced, suggesting that we ask the state to ban ICE within 1,000 feet of polling places, because if that would be done, it would encourage more people to vote. The board made it 250 feet, which is not enough.
Okay. We will now move to question number 12, and Barry, this will come back to you. What plan do you have to enhance curbside food scrap collection in the unincorporated town and to assist the villages in their efforts? 90 seconds.
Okay, well, I just wanted to point out that it was particularly important to note that Mr. Finer said he's in contact with the police chief.
So
He didn't
is
say
this
he
your
meets
rebuttal?
with them.
Are you taking your second rebuttal on this?
No, I was just going to then branch into the question, but
Okay, well, all right.
I didn't know there was restriction on that. But he
Well,
particularly
yeah.
said he's in contact, and there's different ways of communicating with people, and I think in person is generally the best. As far as the food scraps, that's an important thing that we have to follow up on. It's not the number one priority, to be honest with you. I think the first thing we have to do is get our financial house in order. I would love that if we could we could afford to do food scrap pickup in the unincorporated areas. The villages are planning that, some of the villages. But right now we have distribution points. I don't know if it justifies at the town-wide level to have the vehicles and the manpower and the personnel necessary to do daily or weekly food scrap pickups. But it's something I
30
would look
seconds.
at. I'll work with our town board if it's feasible, if we can get it into the budget. Of course, I'd be supportive. I also think we should be looking at textile recycling as well and textile pickup. So anything we can do to help the environment, to do more recycling, and just to be a greener community, I'm all in favor of.
Thank you. Paul?
First of all, I'm very proud of the fact that I got the endorsement of the New York State League of Conservation Voters in recognition for my advocacy for environmental, causes. I believe in food scrap recycling. I think that it could actually save money, because if people would compost their food, it would mean we would have much less, garbage. So I think this would be a big savings for taxpayers, and it's good, good for the environment. The town, over the past number of years that I've been supervisor, we've done a lot of things that have protected our environment. We've placed solar panels at town hall. We're going to be putting solar parking canopies at Anthony Veteran park that's going to probably be approved by the state legislature within the next few weeks. We've increased parkland from 600 to 614 acres during my tenure as town supervisor. I also would like to see a recycling center at the highway garage. Scarsdale has a
30
great
seconds.
recycling center where people drop off different recycling, and I think that we could find a location at the town highway garage, that area, the Public Works headquarters, and put a recycling center there. So I think there's a lot of other things that we could do in addition to food scrap recycling, curbside pickup that would be very successful. I've also been working with people in Hastings, and I'd like to, it's a
Time.
private group.
That was going to happen. No, sorry, I was on mute. So we'll move now to question number 13, second to last question. Paul, this goes to you. Many towns and villages in Westchester are banned. Yeah, okay, same type of thing. Okay. Many towns and villages in Westchester are banning or substantially limiting the use of gas-powered leaf blowers because of their environmental damage and health risks to users. Will you support similar measures in Greenberg? 90 seconds.
I've been asking the town board to pass legislation that would ban gas-powered, leaf blowers, or to tighten up our leaf blower law for many months, even to have a discussion. We have, I think, the worst law in the books relating to noise and leaf blowers, and I think that this is something that is, it's an important quality of life. People can't do work at home. There's too much, noise, and I think that since practically every other community has done something, that we should at least have a discussion and explore options that would improve people's quality of life. So I definitely am begging the town board to put this on the agenda for discussion. I think that when so many people email and call and write and say, let's do something, I think the town board has an obligation to
30
be
seconds.
responsive. And it's very, very frustrating that we have a town board that doesn't want to listen to the public. And again, almost every few days, I send board members emails and requests. Let's just have a discussion. That's all I want. And I think we definitely, in the next 2 years, we'll get something that is better than what we have now.
Great, thank you. Barry, same question.
Well, I'm very proud in the village of Ardsley, we actually instituted a gas leaf blower ban for certain periods, times of the year. I think it shows a lack of leadership on Mr. Finer's part, that he wasn't able to get the board to come to some agreement, because in most municipalities there's not universal agreement that we're going to have an outright ban all the time. There has to be there in a lot of places there's restrictions, and we have a significant number of landscapers. We have public parks. We have cemeteries that are affected by these laws, and we have to look at those things. And even the municipalities' employees themselves are utilizing gas leaf blowers. So I think we have to try to work together to build consensus, to make compromise, and come up with some kind of a ban, especially during the most heavily utilized times of the year. I think it's very important that we not only
30
look
seconds.
at the leaf blower bans, but lawnmowers and snow blowers and other pieces of equipment, and we should try to encourage greener electric vehicles and appliances as much as we possibly can. But it's definitely doable, and I'm supportive of it. But we also understand the limitations that we have, the realities that we have.
Great, thank you. We'll move to our final question, and then we'll move to closing statements. And I do want to mention, in the closing statements, if you are cited in the closing statement, I will allow a rebuttal, a 30-second rebuttal, if you're recognized in the other candidate's closing statement. So just keep that in mind. So question number 14, and Barry, this is back to you. Do you have plans for making Greenberg more walkable, more specifically with building more sidewalks? 90 seconds.
Yes, I think sidewalks are fantastic, and I have to compliment Mr. Feiner on his work over the years and actually making the town safer and more walkable. I think it's very important. I just think it's very important that we just don't um, decide where the sidewalks will be built, that we use it based upon data provided by the traffic engineers, by our police department, where the people most frequently walk, which are the most dangerous locations. But definitely, I'm in favor of more sidewalks as we can afford them. And that's one of the reasons why we need to get our fiscal house in order. We have to collect property taxes. We have to ensure that we have proper oversight. So we have the money to do these capital projects. It's very expensive to build a firehouse. I mean, to build a, a a sidewalk that is ADA compliant. It must be 5 feet wide. It must be concrete. It must have certain curb cuts. It's very expensive, and we need every tax dollar we can to actually make these capital improvements. And I'm very supportive
30
of making
seconds.
our town more walkable and more sustainable.
Great, thank you, Barry.
And of course,
Paul?
with input from our residents as well.
Right, okay. Barry, same question? I'm sorry, Paul, same question.
Well, pedestrian safety is so important because we've had sadly fatalities in the town. We've been building a lot of sidewalks. We built probably about a dozen, 12 miles of sidewalks since 2017. There's going to be a new sidewalk that's going to be built next year on West Hartsdale Avenue from Central Avenue to the library. And we also anticipate that there'll be a grant, so we'll be able to extend the sidewalk to the community college. There's a sidewalk that right now is just being completed on Dobbs Ferry Road from Knollwood Road to 119. So people will be able to actually walk from the Hartsdale train station to Greenburgh Town Hall without having to go on a road, or to the library and community college without having to go on a road. We're looking at having other sidewalks. There's a new Little League field. They just put lights at Rumbrook Park. So I think there should be a sidewalk that would connect people from the residential
30
areas
seconds.
to that park. We're building a new sidewalk on Taxter Road this year. It's going to start probably sometime in early summer, and we're trying to fill in gaps on Central Avenue. There's about 6,000 feet of gaps, so people will be able to walk from White Plains to Yonkers. And we're getting we are applying for a federal grant to have a pedestrian a bike lane from the South County and North County Trail
Time.
to the Mario Cuomo Bridge.
All right, well, thank you both candidates. That ends the Q&A portion of our forum. We'll now move to closing statements. We're going to go in reverse order. So Barry, we'll start with you, 90 seconds, closing statement.
Well, thank you. Once again, I'd like to thank the league and Mr. Feiner for participating in tonight's forum. My name is Barry McGoey, and I'm looking for your support to be the next town supervisor of the town of Greenburgh. As we discussed tonight, I have over 3 decades of public service with hands-on experience in governmental operations, municipal finance, community advocacy, and problem solving. I bring strong skills in budgeting, planning, and working collaboratively with others and different groups to move projects forward. I'm committed to open, responsive services that meets residents' needs. I'm seeking your vote to bring steady, practical, community-focused leadership to the role of town supervisor. Please vote for Barry McGoey on June 23rd for Greenburgh Town Supervisor. Thank you and good evening.
Thank you, Barry. Paul, closing statement, 90 seconds.
Mr. McGoey is totally unknown in our community. He's never spoken at a town board meeting since I've been town supervisor. He didn't even show up yesterday. In the past few weeks at board meetings, he served on no committees and has never stood up for any issues related to unincorporated Greenburgh. Without commitment or history, what is or who motivates Mr. McGoey to run? With tens of thousands of dollars in contributions from unions, from the Yonkers political machine, and from the other town board members, the support from the other town board members. How could he be independent? I'm the only independent voice on the town board, and will continue to speak out on issues that I feel strongly about. The position of town supervisor is more than a full-time job and deserves a candidate who will fully commit to best representing the needs of the community without outside pressure or influence. And to close, I want to read from an endorsement I received
30
on June
seconds.
18th, 2021. I'm proud to vote for Paul Feiner for Greenburgh Town Supervisor, an outstanding public servant who deserves to stay in office doing the great work that they have been doing. He also endorsed Tim Idoni, and that was signed by my opponent, Barry McGoey. So I just want to say that I've had his support in the past, and I hope that after the primary, that we'll be friends.
Time.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Clancy, I hope you're
Uh,
going to provide me with the opportunity for rebuttal there, since I was specifically mentioned numerous times.
Well, exactly. Do you want a rebuttal? 30 seconds?
Yes. Oh, I don't
Okay.
think he spent a minute and a half basically talking about me. But, I find it unfortunate that Mr. Feiner and the supporters will look down upon my support, that they're going to dictate who's going to support me. He'll be happy to know that in the coming financial disclosures that there'll be much more support coming in for my candidacy from within the town of Greenburgh. As far as not attending town board meetings, I have too much respect for the process of government to go to a town board meeting and engage in circus-like activity. Important business should be conducted
Time.
at town board meetings. And it's unfortunate if the circus-like atmosphere that goes on there, and then Mr. Feiner will say, I'm not qualified because I don't come and participate in the circus. I'm going to shut the circus down, Mr. Feiner.
Okay. All right. With that brings our forum to a close. I want to thank our candidates for their insightful conversation and answers and willingness to serve. Thank you to Charlie, rolling with the time. Excellent. Excellent adjustment there on the fly. I want to thank both Susans and thank the league, and thank you especially those at home or wherever you are watching this forum. Just want to remind everybody that the forum was recorded. It'll be available later for viewing on the league's YouTube channel, the League of Women Voters Rivertowns, and the link will be on their website as well. Primary election day is Tuesday, June 23rd. Polls are open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. For registered Democrats in Greenburgh. You can check the county website, Board of Elections, for your polling place. Early voting starts Saturday, June 13th through Sunday, June 21st. And with that, I would like to again thank the candidates and good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.